Oh, I just fucking clicked record, so we're starting now. All right, we're live.
We are live.
This is Adam.
This is Nathan.
This is the Everything Bagel.
Yum yum.
Yeah.
It's a catchphrase now. Yum yum.
Yep, that's going on a shirt.
No. See, if we put that on the shirt out of context, it's gonna.
Yeah.
It might sound a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
For whatever you want it for, get your Yum Yum T-shirt today.
Nope.
At a store that doesn't exist near you.
Get your Yum Yum T-shirt eventually.
Today we are talking about the monocolor white day and how crap it is. I hate mono white.
I
It's a good color. I just hate it.
I think your opinion is wrong, decidedly. I think white is a perfectly fine color. I think if you have a problem with white, you just bad at the game.
You might be right a little bit. Quite literally, I hate white so much, I'd rather play 4 colors than 5.
Yeah.
That's how much I hate white.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just how much I misunderstand the color, but I hate white.
White's good.
It's like, I'll use it for life gain, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't even like life gain, personally. I just like killing people faster than 40 health.
Yeah.
But not poison. I won't do poison.
It just doesn't want to do infect.
Yeah.
Join us next week when we talk about infect.
Oh, God, infect.
Either way, we're talking about white this week.
Yes.
I mean, what is white known for?
Being slow. I don't know.
I don't know. Stacks, maybe?
Yeah, stacks. But, yeah, no, like that, I think... Yeah, no, stacks is the sole reason I don't like white, right? And anybody else that's not playing stacks, right? Because isn't like the whole thing with stacks like you guys can't do shit?
Yeah. Well, but to that end, even like Smothering Tithe, right? Smothering Tithe only affects me.
Yeah.
It's a tax, right?
Yeah.
Pay this tax.
I won't get my thing.
Or I'll get, every time you draw a card, pay this tax, or I'm going to get a treasure. The Thalias, right? The Thalia that makes non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. I think Spirit of the Labyrinth only allows you to draw 1 card per turn.
Mm-hmm.
Rule of Law only allows you to cast 1 spell per turn.
I wrote down this name. It was Mayrol, Shield of Argive, or Argive, something like that?
Yep, I think I know what you're talking. I don't remember the specific wording on it.
Besides creating crazy tokens like Krinko Mob Boss, he basically says... Your other opponents can't cast spells and activate artifacts or enchantments.
Yep.
It just completely shuts you out.
Yep. It turns off an avenue of play that if you, as the opponent, are not prepared to deal with,
yep,
it either ends your game in a very kind of lackluster way.
Exactly.
Right? I can't actually progress myself in a meaningful way because... I can't tap my artifacts for mana. I can't yada this, yada that. And that's what is it? That's where Wizards of the Coast kind of built Mono White's power, is the ability to prevent your opponents from playing the game. And this is where I get into my don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah.
I'll make that argument 1,000 times. If you're going to sit down across from someone that's playing Mono White, it has to kind of be a rule, or kind of a rule 0, or a pregame like, hey, you're playing mono white, and if you're playing at any amount of significant power, if you're just playing at
5, 7,
if you're playing at like a 7, an 8 above, and you see someone sit across from you, and they're like, hey, is it all right if I play my mono white deck? There's like. Maybe the way they're going to kill you is a little different. Maybe some of the cards are a little different because the commanders are a little different. But in your heart of hearts, the only reason really that someone would sit down across from you at a game of less casual Magic is they're going to be doing some form of stacks.
So maybe they get it at your local game store.
Yeah.
Type level of competitive play.
Yep. You're playing for prizes. You're playing for something. Mm-hmm. If someone sits down at the table with a mono white deck, you just kind of know what they're doing. Because mono white, the color, is slow everyone else down, so that way I have a chance to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, tells me something about that color. Sorry, I'm gonna be Mr. Negative over here.
No, yeah.
It's like I'm all about being fast and aggressive.
And so it is the antithesis of what you want to see at the table.
Pretty much.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, but I just get annoyed at it. Definitely not a bad thing.
Yeah, because
they have the counterpart, right? Every color has its counterpart.
And if you're wanting to go fast and you see someone sit down at a mono white table and you pull out your most dirtly, maybe not dirtiest, but non-interactive, cannot affect the board state in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
Past like I put Big Dumb Idiot into play and swing, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's not them sitting. If you don't say anything like, "Hey, I'm playing kind of a dirtily deck or whatever. I'm playing a Big Dumb Idiot's deck. Mm-hmm. I don't really have a lot of interaction in it. Could you play something else?" If they say, if they say go pound sand, then fucking there's a difference. That's a different conversation. But there's a dialogue that can happen there where you communicate with your opponent like, "Hey, I don't feel like I'll be able to interact with you like in a meaningful way. Mm-hmm. Could you play something else?" Or even in your mind, like, "I know this deck isn't going to work, so I'll play something else."
Yeah.
And telling them the reason why I'm switching decks because I don't feel like I could meaningfully interact with you.
Yeah. If
you put something out, versus I'm just gonna switch my deck because I see you're playing mono white.
Yeah. A little bit different.
And just communicating with the other person because you see them playing mono white. You have an idea that they're gonna play stacks. Just communicate with them.
Then it doesn't mean switch to your mono blue deck.
Yeah, it doesn't mean switch to your hoses mono white deck, right?
Yeah.
It means switch to a deck that you think would be fun to play in this environment.
I think that my frustration with white comes from having a lack of maybe it's a little bit of both of responses and with I just want toxic in my deck anymore just because of lifelink existing.
Oh yeah.
Like that's just the two biggest things I have with white is just like lifelink can get crazy and I don't really run toxic because when people know that you have toxic, you become priority a little bit and it's a little scarier, which I get. But anymore I'm just like wanting to run toxic to deal with the life game players. I don't think I don't know if there's any because the only other answers I see is like you can run toxic and kill them in 10 damage or more, or then you could also just counter the spell that's gonna really put them leaps ahead. But like I don't know if they're only playing stacks, I don't like kind of the worst stack piece.
What is it? Stacks would have some amount of life. I would imagine in mono white you just have life gain
for sure.
I couldn't imagine a mono white deck not having an amount of life gain because it goes back to that whole like you're playing stacks to slow the game down. What also slows the game down? Removing all of the work. Yeah, preventing your opponent's work from being meaningful. Mm-hmm. I would say if you're running into problems with life gain, just like I say it just kind of constantly when we talk about decks, play more interaction.
Mm-hmm. That's always the answer.
It just is because it's such it's just a catch-all. I understand that you can't play 40 pieces of interaction in your deck, but it goes back to like the finding more cards per card.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. I'm a big proponent for like running low curves, by and large, running a low curve. But anymore, I'm starting to learn to love like just more expensive, less efficient cards.
Yeah. Kind of like Chevelle. Right?
Yeah. Because you could run Nature's Lore, and I want to say, or not Nature's Lore, but you could run Return to Nature. Nope. God, I'm trying to think. It's 1 mana, destroy target artifact or enchantment. But the controller gains 4 life. And you can run that. And I would run that. But maybe you just review and you realize, like, I'm playing a creature-based deck with a lot of creatures, and I have a lot of things that trigger off of my creatures entering play. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's worth it to, maybe build around that and play something like a Reclamation Sage. Mm-hmm. It's a 2/1 creature, triggers all of your creature triggers, and it destroys an artifact or enchantment. And especially when you're at more casual tables, where I would say it's more fine, where your opponent combos off on their turn, and they win because they comboed off and they did their thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, we're playing casual Magic, that's cool. And so I play a bit more on my turn. I let my friends play on their turn, more.
Yeah.
But I'll still stick instants and sorceries
for sure.
Because it'd be wrong of me not. It would be wrong of me not to attempt to prevent them, or at least have the ability to attempt to prevent them. But maybe I just run the Reclamation Sage instead of the fourth or fifth copy of whatever the fuck this card is in my head. I can't remember it.
Yeah. It's a rip apart type.
Yeah. But even then, maybe you go up to like the 4-mana instants and sorceries where they'll hit 2 things. And sure, they cost 4 mana, but we're playing casual Magic here, and it's more impactful anyways. So, yeah, just like fit more cards per card.
Getting your value out of it.
And it'll be stacks will just becomes less of a problem when you have more ways to deal with it. Because who cares if your opponent played Rule of Law on their turn and you can only cast 1 spell per turn. If you just destroy it before your turn, you just hose whoever went before you.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't get to really have a turn, but since you still could cast that 1 spell, you just cast your 1 spell on their turn is destroying the Rule of Law, and then it didn't matter.
Swords to Plowshares.
Yep, for those big creatures, anything. You bring up Swords to Plowshares, I think that's another thing that white is known for.
Yeah.
Is exile-based removal.
Exactly, have that written down.
White has phenomenal removal. It just does. Swords to Plowshares. What is it? God, what's the Path to Exile? The 2 that just come up right away when you think of 1 mana creature removal. But
Jailbreak, or not Jailbreak. The Palace
Jailer.
Palace Jailer. Can't see those.
Yeah, Palace Jailer is another good one. He introduces Monarch to the game. What is it? You get into your like Oblivion Ring and Portable Hole, Banishing Light, things that just exile permanents.
Would you say that those are enchantment based?
Yep, the enchantments that they enter the battlefield in the exile thing. I still think those are fine because generally they hit more than just creatures. They hit everything. So this is where you get into it. White removal is really good. And people can get up in arms about it because it's exile based, so it doesn't put it in the graveyard. So all those nerds that are running graveyard strategies can't actually get their graveyard value. And I would imagine that's another thing that probably just like makes the casual Magic player mad is once the casual Magic player finally gets over the like hating the graveyard, hating seeing things in the graveyard. You know, what is it? It's time to stop worrying and love the graveyard. Time to stop worrying and love the bomb. It's just like once they start to enjoy looking at cards in the graveyard, and then you just hit them with Path to Exile on your cool creature. Oh, it doesn't even hit the graveyard. I can't even recur that. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Or you hit them with, an Oblivion Ring, so that sticks on the battlefield. And then they have to deal with an enchantment, and you're playing casual Magic, so no one runs any interaction. So it might as well have not, it might as well be a Path to Exile.
There's even, just general colorless artifacts that you could run. There's one that's on the top of my head from Lord of the Rings I don't know the name of. It's just it could be that one you're talking about. It looks like it has a dark hole on it and everything.
Okay.
Pretty neat. I don't like white. I would say this as someone who would be, if I were to play white, the biggest problem that I have with it is that I'm just an aggro player. I like my get in, get out, let's have another game kind of play style sometimes, and I'm just here to do damage and get out. It's not nothing that white really does, except I'll give this to white. The exile-based removal, like I have a Swords of Plowshares and a Path to Exile in pretty much every deck.
Yeah, every deck that touches white.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like those are the cards that you want, because those are like what, both 1-drops?
Yep, they're both 1-mana instants that
get rid of a problem.
It's I think I've said this to you. I might have said it on here. Would you rather? It's because people talk about the cost. Oh my God, I gave my opponent 4 life because I killed their thing. Or oh my God, I gave my opponent a basic land because I killed their thing. And it's like, would you rather be dead or would you rather give your opponent a land?
Yeah. It's kind of like like we played a match last night and Maddie had to interact with, I think, someone's commander, and in replace of that, they got a fetch for a basic land, and it was just like, I think somebody might have did it to her, but basically they're already ramping pretty hard, so getting an additional land kind of felt like, fuck. Yeah. Like they get another land on top of them ramping like crazy. It's one of those things where I'm even careful with that, because it's like, I don't know. I probably, depending on where the game is, right? I might hold off on it. Yeah. See, not necessarily, try to angle shoot, but like, hey, maybe if I wait a couple turns, somebody could deal with it, right? Yeah. If it becomes more of a nuisance, and because like Beast Within, destroy target thing that's green spell, create a 3/3 beast. It's like I hate removal that gives players an advantage to any degree. Yeah. And that's like the thing that I think in Magic, even I'm going to have to like get over.
I think you will, because I've gotten to because I hated Beast Within for a really long time. Yeah. And then I read it and I read it and I read it and I realize it's like anything, right? That artifact, that Akroma's Memorial.
Is it destroy target permanent?
I want to say it's destroy target non-land permanent.
Dang. I thought it was creature.
If it is creature, it's a little bit less good. But if it's destroy target I want to say it's destroy target permanent, just like Generous Gift. Yeah. Because Generous Gift is just the mono white Beast Within. It gives them an elephant instead. Yep. Right. And I want to say there's a few Generous Gift clones that give just random whatevers.
And on the receiving end of it, what's really nice about those though is like, you don't feel like you're really you're losing out on your big thing, but it's like, hey, I like a cute creature on my board state every once in a while, I'm going to be honest. Give me that Ox token. I'll take it. And then, like, what is it? You can even, like, maybe the Ox or the Beast is actually really good for you, right? Because you have, like, you're playing Voltron, and it's like, just equip everything to it anyway. So fun. Hate white, though.
No, I think...
No, it's fine. I think I just like it for its removal.
Yeah. But even to that end, I know you brought up being an aggro player. Yeah. I think you could definitely make a mono white aggro commander deck. I definitely think it's possible.
I think it'll fall short in a lot of other areas, though. That's what I guess I'm worried about it. Because I see some of the commanders, right?
So the creatures... Because your base for mono white creatures in my head is like, it's angels, right? Yeah. You're just going to be running a ton of 5-drop, like Baneslayer angels. They just hit the board, and they're all slightly small because they're all going to be somewhere like 4/4s, right? 4/4 angel for 5 with keywords. So they'll be a little small, but they'll all be baked in with evasion. Yeah. They'll all have flying.
That's true.
So it'll be really hard for your opponents to deal with them. And your biggest problem will be staying alive through the crackback, but you're playing mono white, so you have an amount of life gain.
You could probably just take a lot of the hits anyway.
So you could just tank a lot of the hits. Maybe those angels have lifelink too, so you're gaining life from non-combat, and you're gaining life from sticking your angels out there.
True.
And then you have some of the best removal in the game, so you're able to hit the truly scary creatures and the scary creatures that can block you, right? Creatures with flying or reach. And then you're in white, so you might want to tack on some protection spells.
For sure. That kind of runs similar to stacks, right? Protection. Some of those protection spells.
Yeah, protection spells is just another I feel like it falls close enough into the category. And then what is it? Oh, God. And you're playing white, so you have, right, we talk about some of the best creature removal in the game. You're able to deal with artifacts and enchantments because you're in white. Who truly, white is the complete package. It's just the face of white. You don't have counterspells. Whoopie-doo, right? Like, that's what you're missing from white. But I still think you're better positioned in white than you could be in something like a blue aggro deck. Right, but blue's going to run you over with card draw and tempo.
True. Man, I'm really thinking about what you just said there, because that was a little impactful for young player Nate over here.
Yeah, there's
like white as a full package. That's a pretty heavy statement. For me.
Yeah, it's just not anywhere near as flashy as any of the other colors. It's just boring.
Yeah, okay.
Right? The problem with white is you're not playing green, so you don't have ludicrous ring. You're not playing red, so you don't have ludicrous damage out of nowhere. You're not playing black, so you don't get cheap spells that cost you some life. And you're not playing blue, so you don't have counter spells.
It's the catch-22 for white. Like, it's just like fucking... I'm boring, but I'm safe, and I'll get you there. Just stay with me. And it's like every other card is like, hey, but we have this new... Like, I don't know.
There's just fucking neon signs flashing and pointing at every other color. And you see white's just like, hey...
We could do it, too.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I got a stable income over here.
Yeah, stable and steady. The green's just like, hey, I'll give you everything.
Yeah.
Everything you have ever wanted.
Right now. Just pay 40 life.
Just pay 40 life and you'll be good.
Just pay some life. Just pay some life, you know.
Black says, pay all the life.
Pay all of the life.
Oh, man. I'm trying. One of the biggest things that I wrote down was the fact that you can't blank. It's the stacks thing.
Yeah.
It's one of those... I don't know if there is enough exile-based removal or answers for all the stack pieces that follow white.
I think if you're playing in a 4-color game and you're playing against one person with stacks, like one person kind of maybe leaning heavy into it, you're playing 4 other players. If that one person can dodge all 3 other players' answers, they deserve that win. That's not on that. Like, you guys fucked up. You targeted the wrong thing. I think it's very easy for 3 players to totally shut a stacks player out of the game.
Yeah. I guess that's like a big worry, right? Because I don't know. I would be a little scared to be like, hey, I'm pulling up the mono white stacks deck.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, okay. Let's shut up, Nate.
Yeah,
because I want to play Magic. It goes back to a little bit more. I don't know. I see mono blue and mono white being in like the same family, where it's like they're both control until you win.
Yep.
And I guess, but blue doesn't even do enough like white, where white I think blue has creatures, card draw,
counter spells.
Yeah, and that's like it.
You don't have good removal in blue. You have a lot of unsummon effects that you can put back into your hand.
Copy effects. Some.
Yeah, you copy effects. But the thing with blue, though, is card draw is just such a powerful effect, right? That it generally gets a pass. I want to say blue is a very boring color, because it is card draw. It's creatures, counter spells, card draw. And that's kind of all I really know blue for.
Yeah, it's a great utility piece, for sure. Like, you want it in almost everything.
Yeah, because card draw. Counter spells, sure, but card draw.
I was going to say maybe green might rival blue, but nah. I don't know if there is a color that rivals blue with card draw.
And green can get there with creature ball, like, right... Oh. A lot of effects that draw cards off of creatures entering the battlefield. Black gets there because it kind of, but no, you just don't have the density of cheap cantrips. Yeah. Brainstorms, ponders, preordains, ops, considers,
ponder.
Yeah. No, yeah. serum vision, whatever you want to put out there. There's just no density of cantrips like there is in blue in any other color. What is it? Card draw, because we're talking about card draw. There is a problem with card draw in white, which is the fact, like, in general, card draw in white is conditional. I want to say this is my new favorite card that I've ever seen, because it's kind of funny. It's monologue tax. Monologue tax is like 1 white, 2. Whenever a player draws their second card per turn, you draw a card, or you create a treasure. I want to say it's you create a treasure.
I like that.
Because they're spending a lot of time talking. They're spending a lot of time saying they're casting spells and yada yada and drawing cards, and so you just you tax them on it. But then there's Mangara or whatever, the diplomat. And he says, what is it? Whenever a player gets attacked with 2 or more creatures, you get to draw a card. Whenever you're attacked with whatever, there's 2 triggers. There's 2 ways to trigger it, but basically it says if your opponents do something specific, you get to go do that. You get to go do a specific thing. What is it? Smothering Tithe we talked about earlier. If your opponents draw a card and they don't pay this tax, what is it?
Get a treasure?
Yeah. Ristic Buddy, Esper Sentinel, right?
Yeah.
If your opponents, what is it? Cast a non-creature spell and don't pay the 1, you get to draw a card. This triggers only once per turn. But there's a lot of, if your opponents do X, you get to do Y.
And that it's not very budget friendly.
No. Mono white, again, right? Talk about mono white being bad. A lot of these cards that are kind of breaking open mono white past just being stacks, like boring stacks, are fairly new.
Yeah.
I want to say. So you do run into the problem of, if you're playing mono white, you have to have these cards, and they're brand new, so there's not, they haven't been sitting around forever to collect dust in a bulk bin.
Yeah.
So monologue tax, right? It's good. I wouldn't consider it overpowered, but it's still like a $5 card.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, if you're the type to sell cards, that's $5 that you can go spend on a counter spell. That's probably more. I mean, it depends on your place and what decks you got. In my opinion, everybody should have a deck for everything.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah. What a color. I would say, I still think, even though you have opened my eyes thus far to white, I will still say it's not, it's just not an appealing color. Like you said, it's not the flashy.
Yeah.
It's not the flashy thing to do. And I don't know, when I'm casting spells, I'm always trying to be flashy. I think that if I'm playing white, I just associate it with angels so much that it, that's just been a day one thing, right?
Yeah.
Angels in white. Maybe wizards could step a little farther away from the stacks.
Well, and then there's humans in white.
Yeah, humans are great. I like humans, right? There's a plethora of humans that they've been that are just out.
Yeah, and to that, you were going to say something about wizards. Yeah, I don't think it's white's fault that white is bad.
For sure.
I think wizards could do a little better. I want to say they're getting there. It's not as dark. I hope they don't go as far as they did with green in the past 10 years, whatever. Where green has just gone from a color that ramps to a color that does everything.
Yeah. And I wasn't here before that really, but I feel like it. I see what people are talking about. Yeah. Rapid Road is a lot older than something like what's a new it's like a new version of a Krata Hoof card. It's full steam ahead, just a mono green, give everything trample plus whatever, and it just seems like they're reprinting expensive text on cheaper cards that make these new cards a little bit expensive. So maybe I guess they're trying to do a stabilize the ecosystem a little bit. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. No. I think white's a great color. I think I'll make a white deck here soon, just a mono white deck here soon, because I want to kind of put my money where my mouth is on it, right?
That's fair.
I think white is a fine color. I think people don't give it enough credit.
For sure.
And yeah, I think it's less of a mono white problem and more of a player's problem. I do. I really think it's like once players can get over the fact that everyone at the table is trying to enact a game plan, and some game plans might interrupt my game plan. I think once players get past that, they can enjoy the game more because they're less worried about playing solitaire, right? Winning their game, and they're more worried about
how do I deal with it?
How do I deal with this? How do I interact with this?
Which, that's magic, baby.
That's magic, baby.
If you want to play solitaire, go Windows 95.
Yeah.
Oh man, what? Say something. I don't know what it was. I think white blue is something way more exciting that I would want to do than just mono white. I like white blue.
I like white green. I like
just white with any other color.
I like white black. I like white red. I like all of them.
I love Boros. Boros burn looks attractive, even though I could just mono red.
Yeah. Either way. Fucking packing this one in, Nathan. It's over.
Yeah. Next week we'll be talking about Infect.
Yep.
That will be a fun one. Fuck you, Atraxa. Can't wait to talk about that next week. My buddy, talking about Infect a little bit. Buddy's making an Atraxa deck, pretty sure.
Yeah.
Gonna have to do something about that.
Yep.
But yeah.
Just play Solemnity and players can't get counters put on them.
Oh.
And either way, this has been the Everything Bagel. You'll catch us. You'll figure out. Nathan will put stuff in the description or whatever.
It'll be in the description.
So no matter where you are, whatever time it is, have a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. And just don't forget, try everything.